Hello there, and welcome back to the 13th episode of Creating Heads in Fusion 360. So in this episode we're going to be again covering the general adjustments. It's at 300% speed, believe it or not, and we're going to begin with talking about widening the edge of the face. So this is something I have a really bad habit of doing, which is creating a model that sits within side. So like you have your canvas image at the back, which you're using for reference, and I often find that with the sides of the face I sort of curve them away too soon and I don't actually reach that full width of the canvas image, and you really want to be taking it right to the width. You'll notice anytime we look completely front on at the camera, you can see it looks like a thin area of just the outside of the face, but that I haven't sort of covered with the model. And it's not something I'd advise to do. It's something I know how to fix because I do it at the end of every model, but I sort of wish I would do it at the start. But essentially I'm making the faces too narrow. That's the problem. Anyway, so after we've done that, we'll make a few adjustments around the lips. Weirdly, I would say that the sort of above the lip region is a very difficult place to model, but below the lips it's relatively easy. Like this area is probably the easiest place to model on the face. Very soft skin, yeah. It's and the curves are very fluid, so it's all nice. Next, we're sort of pinching in the nose again, which we've done a bit before. And we want to sort of pinch in the area just around the nostrils, because no nose just joins completely flat to the face, or no nose that I'm familiar with anyway. Just pinching in those areas there. I don't know what you'd call them. But yeah, it's pretty essential. It's weird how it can go from looking sort of like a wedge on somebody's face, like when you first start out, to looking more and more nose-like. It's still far too wide for the canvas that I'm modelling from, but yeah, it's looking more promising. How's that? Yeah, that's not too bad. We also got to do the area around the eye socket multiple times. As you sort of adjust one feature, it sort of has a ripple effect. So if I'm like adjusting the cheeks or something, and I sort of, I don't know, like raise them as if to like raise a cheekbone or something, it'll have a knock-on effect to the eyes. The eyes have a knock-on effect to the eyebrows. It all just sort of ripples across the face. So you find that you edit one thing and you make it look perfect for that area, like perfect cheek. you've smashed it out of the park with the cheek. But as for the rest of it, it sort of all gets affected, and suddenly everything else doesn't look quite right. So you have to just adjust all of it all the time as you go, rather than focusing on one area too much. Just make loads of minor adjustments and move about as much as possible, rather than getting one bit finished, because it's so difficult to tell without reference to the other parts. So here, just moving the cheeks forward ever so slightly. Yeah, I'm never really, it's difficult with cheeks. I mean, they vary so much from person to person. Noses definitely do vary from person to person, but at least with the noses of the people that I've modelled, they've been relatively similar. And the brows have, but the cheeks are always very different, because I don't know, there's not a huge amount of detail to a cheek that you can that you can measure or you can see from like a shadow or something. Like it's very difficult, and it'll just take a lot of practice. But again, this is still looking better than when we started this video. Now we're just pinching the chin. Oh, we're bringing it out ever so slightly. Yeah, that's looking good from the side. You can see though, like from when we first had the flat section of the face to this, it's already, it already looks face-like, not like the client that my mate that I'm doing it for, but it certainly looks like a face, and that's always promising. Like at least it's looking more and more human. and then later on you sort of have to make it look more like the human you're trying to model. Yeah, so that was pretty good. I tend to step back quite a lot in the model, just zooming out just to make sure everything's looking right. And I would advise that you to do that as much as possible. So that's it for, well, that's coming to an end for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, like with the last video, if you have any questions about anything, just send it in the comment section. I'm happy to answer. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.